My fellow Americans, today I speak to a nation in grief. Yesterday, a school filled with innocent children and caring teachers became the scene of terrible violence, hatred, and evil. Around 2:30 yesterday afternoon, police responded to reports of gunfire at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida.
When I first heard about this shooting taking place, I just had one thought, and the thought that I had, or should I say, the lack of other thoughts that I had might upset some people. And I know that this is a really sensitive issue because you're talking about the loss of people's lives, children losing parents, mothers and fathers losing children, and there's so much that could be said. And as soon as I heard about the shooting, the first thing is that political parties were going to turn this into a gun debate. Now, don't get me wrong, please. This is me even saying that. I know it could have upset some of you because I know students are doing walkouts from schools, and you guys, I just want to commend you for taking a stand for what you believe in. And I do believe that conversation needs to happen on gun control in our country, and that conversation needs to happen. Your opinions actually matter. Your stances on these things matter, and so you need to make your voice known. But as it pertains to me, that's not what I'm basing this conversation on. I'll leave that to other people that are more informed than me. There's more people that have studied research of gun control laws and people who advocate for and against it. I have nothing to say on that. My experience is simply involved in youth lives. If you don't know me or you don't know much about my background, for years I've gone into high schools and I've spoken through assembly programs trying to inspire hope in the hearts of students. And no matter where I go, I hear stories of brokenness in students' lives, whether it's in Ohio, California, the nation of India, the stories are still the same. Our generation, the youth of our generation, are a broken generation. They've been abused, they've been raped, they've been molested, they've been abandoned, they've been rejected, they've watched people die right in front of them. And these are just stories I've heard for years now. So when I hear about this happening, my first thought, and this again, it's gonna upset some people, my first thought went to the young man who did the shooting. And like I said, people are gonna talk about the gun control side of things, and I wanna talk about the heart and the relational side of things. I don't know why this young man went into a school with a duffel bag with ammunition and a gun and killed people. I don't know why that happened. But the one thing I think of is I'm like, man, what was he feeling in his heart? What rejection was he experiencing? What anger? It could have been something completely mental. It might not have even had anything to do with his emotions or his perception of self, his perception of other people. It might not have been any of that. It could have just snapped. I don't know. But if it did have to do with his perception of the world, I just think, man, what can we do as people who aren't violent, as people who don't want to kill people, as people who aren't broken on the inside? What can we do to help others who are experiencing those feelings, to make sure that we prevent, in our best ability, those things from happening again? And so the thing I thought about was, man, did this kid have any friends? Did anybody invest in his life? And again, I don't know if that will make a difference. I don't know if that would stop somebody from killing people. But as I look over our generation, like I said, so many kids are broken. So many kids feel abused. There's a girl that came up to me a couple weeks ago after an assembly, and people come up to her and just tell her to kill herself. And you hear that and you're like, man, why do people do that? Why do people say those things? It doesn't make sense. What we should stand for gun control. We should stand for all these things that you might be passionate about. But at the same time, make sure that you're not just living your life through a politician's pen. But make sure that you're living your life, living it out with your words, with your actions, to make sure that people know that they're loved, not because a politician struck a law limiting gun purchases, but because you chose to love people, because you chose to sit by the person that everybody else rejects, because you chose to stop gossiping and mocking and tearing people down. Instead, you decided to call out the good in other people. You decided to use your influence to take the people who are considered the lowest and lifting them to the place of honor where they're accepted and they're loved by everyone. That's my challenge to the Life of B fam, man. That's my challenge to all of us, is that there's never a kid, there's never anybody in our workplaces, there's never anybody in our community that goes unloved by us. That everyone knows they're loved. Everybody knows they have a friend. It doesn't matter if other people call them weird. It doesn't matter if they're the laughing stock of the whole school or the community. We choose to love because that's what we're about, man. Because everybody needs love. Everybody's going through something. Everybody's gone through something and has a story to share. I just want to challenge us in that, man. If you're an advocate and you have something to contribute as it pertains to guns, man, then do that. You use your voice. If you don't think it involves guns, then use your voice, whatever it may be, whatever your convictions are, man. But my conviction is that people need love and people need a friend. So I want to challenge you. Think of somebody in your life that everybody else doesn't acknowledge and choose to acknowledge them today. Wake up every day and get somebody in your mind that you say, man, before this day ends, this person is going to know that their life matters to me. If they don't know it from anybody else, they'll know it from me. That they matter, and I'm thankful for them. I'm thankful for their friendship. I'm thankful for their life. And show them with practical actions that they belong in this world and that their life is meant for good and not for harm for others. Man, thanks for joining me today on The Life of B. Peace out. One of the things when you shoot vlogs like I shoot is I actually plan in advance. One of the things that's hard about this for me is that I want to be able to speak into relevant issues as they're happening. And so I wanted to get this vlog out here even at the beginning of the Life of B because I just want to speak into this. When I first heard about this shooting and I heard about the young man and the profile that they gave on him, and people were giving feedback on his social interaction with people and all that kind of stuff, I just had a thought.